So when I think about the creative environment and finding the seed and truth of a song idea, I want to sort of dream about that a little bit and try to make some discernment about what the initial inspiration of a song idea is. Sometimes there's a conversation about it, but not always. A lot of times it's about just the way it makes me feel and what I see as some basic form of vibe or energy or emotion that is maybe present. And sometimes I'll speak more specifically to the artist about it to find out what their truth is about it. But sometimes it's that it clouds things a little bit for me, and I maybe only ask when I think I need clarity or I don't feel like I'm understanding what it is that is inspiring them. And then once I have those feelings and ideas in place, typically from listening to demos and sitting down with the artist and just getting to know them a little bit better and asking bigger questions, then the more analytical, planning, engineer, mathematical side of me works to create an environment and think about an environment that is going to be complete enough or flexible enough, able enough to kind of capture what that's going to be, or the possibilities that will exist, so that we're prepared and we've planned, and the opportunity of the environment is in place. For me, part of being a producer is being a co-creator and creating an opportunity for inspired creation to happen. The thing is music in the studio is magical, and magic does happen and can happen in the studio, but it doesn't happen just because you show up and you want it to in the studio. It's a complicated set of technical circumstances. There's a lot of things that are in play, and you really need to be thorough in the planning and preparation so that when those times do happen, when everybody's feeling the song and the performance and the sounds are right, and you just have that really special moment that happens, that there's nothing that gets in the way of it. You can't depend on it. You can only be prepared and plan for the opportunity that it might happen. So that's my attitude is like, I'm there to serve the song and the artist and to lead. I mean, I'm the producer. I'm the person that is in charge of the recording process, the record making process, but I'm doing it on behalf of the artist. I'm not there to make my record. I'm there on behalf of the artist. So I have to dream a little bit about what it is that they've started, talk to them about where they want to go, have a feeling about who they are as an artist, who they want to be, where they want it to all sort of arrive, make my own discernments, and then do the planning and the groundwork to be prepared for the moment when it can happen, and be positioned so that I can be flexible enough that when a new idea comes about, or we sort of get to a stopping point, so momentum slows down or is lost, or we kind of hit a roadblock, that you can redirect, and just find. It's really about being prepared to find inspiration and then record it in the moment, and record it at a high level. It's easy to record something that, just to capture it, but to do it in a way where the production and the intention of the production can really serve the inspiration and creativity of a record. It's a process that you really have to be prepared for, and that's why I feel like I'm a co-creator. I'm leading, and I'm the expert in getting that stuff done. I don't live in my mind on some island where I'm the only voice. But I have a great deal of responsibility. There's an expectation, and I just want to be prepared. And I don't ever want the technical process to stand in the way of the creative process unless we've reached some technical impasse. And then sometimes you have to say, okay, sorry, we have to stop. We got to fix this. We got to get ready. We don't have everything just right for this moment to happen. But that's really what it is. You're constantly switching back and forth. For me, as a producer, I'm constantly switching back and forth between dreaming, inspiration, and then planning for execution. I'm a very technical person in some ways, in that I can. I'm a very capable engineer and mixer. I know that about myself, but I never lead with my toolbox or my technical ability. Those things are only meant to serve what I feel is appropriate in the moment. I never want my records to all sound the same. I never want things to feel the same. Ultimately, I want to be a feel person. I want to be chasing the intangibles, and never want to lead with the technical stuff. I only want to use the technical stuff as a conduit for a creative outcome. So I want to be able to easily switch back and forth. I want to feel confident that when I get into that creative mindset, the just sort of the executing things, that everything technically has been thought of and taken care of as much as possible, so that there are no impasses, and that it can, when you realize in the moment that things are feeling magical, that it's all you're gonna get it all. It's all gonna be okay. I can't think of the number of times where you're working in the studio and it's a process of building up. You're refining the sounds. You're talking about the arrangement, the structure. How does everybody feel? Hey, let's take a break. What does it sound like? Let's listen. Let's talk about it. And then there's that moment when the performer or performers go out into the room and it starts to really come together, and you're recording, and it's like, oh wow, suddenly we're in that moment of, this is amazing. I'm going to remember this always. This moment is really magical, and I've had the good fortune of those moments that have been made into records. They go out into the world, and people hear them, and I hear them out in the world. And when I hear one of those songs out in a public space, the first thing I think, I'm transported immediately back to that moment of when the magic arrived. And I really want to be responsible to being prepared to capturing that at the best possible way, and have nothing to pay attention to other than the way this is making me feel, and then being able to know, like, yeah, that's a record. We did it. That feels like a record. It's done. It's an amazing feeling. And that's sort of the way I approach it. There is no specific script. There is no one set of circumstances that will create the opportunity. I want to look at each inspiration separately, plan for how I think it can be executed, and then do the work to have it come about. And then when I feel like it has manifested, then it's done.